Hey there, it's Elena Bear. So the last time I tried to film this vlog, it was snowing outside, so I was showing you guys the snow, and I thought that would be really interesting, except that the sound didn't work on that video, so here I am refilming it. Okay, sorry, the phone was ringing. I'm at work right now and the baby's sleeping. So anyway, so I had to refilm this because I filmed it on the phone and somehow the volume was off, which I didn't even know was a setting that you could do. Anyway, that was annoying. So here I am once again to tell you about the couple things that happened recently that were pretty crazy. Okay, so the first big thing that I wanted to tell you about is for Marsha's birthday, my mother-in-law, I got really into planning her birthday stuff this year. And I had like several surprises and things lined up, and I don't know, I love like celebrating. I love birthdays. I love just, I don't know, not necessarily like the parties or anything, just like doing stuff for people is what I like. Like anyway, usually for everyone's birthday we have like a big family get together where everybody comes and we'll go out to dinner or something. But for hers, it was just weird timing and everyone was busy and it just, I don't know, it just didn't work out. And she kept saying like, oh, it's fine, like I don't need anything special, it's not a big deal. But it's like you could tell she was disappointed. I mean, everybody wants their birthday to be special no matter what you say. You can be like, no, it's not a big deal, but I mean, you still want it to be special, like stop lying. So I was like, oh, I have to do something. And it turned out that I would be literally the only person available on her actual birthday. And I'm like, oh no, like who wants to just hang out with me on their birthday? So I'm like, I need to figure something out. Okay, so like I said, we normally get together on the weekends, but her birthday was in the middle of the week. So I was like, well, I mean, this is crazy and we never do this, but maybe we can meet on her actual birthday. Like if someone's birthday is in the middle of the week, we still will always just get the family together on the weekend because everyone has crazy schedules. So I started texting people and somehow in the end, everybody was available on her actual birthday. But I didn't want to tell her this, so it ended up being like a whole big surprise where she thought that it was just gonna be me and her going to dinner on her birthday, just the two of us. And I convinced her to go to a restaurant that's like in between where everybody lives. So she thought it was just gonna be the two of us, and we get to the restaurant and I knew everybody was already there waiting, and it was just so like crazy, like just planning this whole thing with all these people. I mean, it was awesome because she didn't suspect anything and we totally surprised her and made it really special. Like her husband was there, he was supposed to be at class all night, so he like skipped class and it was just so awesome. And then what else? Well, Lansen was working. He was closing that night. And what he did while she was at Bible study in the morning, he actually made a birthday cake for her. So when we got home from the restaurant, I was able to like have the cake. He made the cake and then he hid it so that she didn't know about it at all until I came out with like the candles lit and everything that night. So that was another cool surprise. And then her present is like my favorite part of this whole thing. So her present was, so she has 3 boys, and Lansen, my husband, is the youngest, and they're all married. So this, like us 6 kids decided to go in on a present together, which is kind of hard because, you know, we don't live together or anything, and it ended up being kind of like one of those things where, like a group project at school where you are supposed to, you know, you're trying to do this whole thing together, but you know, some people do more work than others or whatever, and it just, there's no other way to do it, which is fine. But basically I ended up like doing it, like planning this whole thing out and organizing it and doing it. So what we did was we bought a tree decal for your wall online on like eBay or something. And like I looked for these things for hours and I like compared them and I measured the wall and blah blah blah. And so we picked out a wall decal, we bought this thing online, and then we like split the cost of it. So the plan was to make a family tree. So each person, each couple, basically like the wife, because you know, like the guys aren't going to do anything. Well, I mean, they helped a little bit, but anyway. So we were supposed to pick out pictures of like ourselves individually, a picture of like us as a couple, and then I picked out tons of extra ones like, you know, grandparents and like Glenn and Marcia separately and together, and just like all these extra pictures. Then we were supposed to get picture frames in specific sizes for these photos and blah, blah, blah. It was like this, you know, whole big project of getting all this stuff together. We told her at dinner the whole idea of it, and then we're like, okay, you can decide where it goes in your house, because it's kind of like a permanent thing. I mean, it's this huge tree. I'm gonna insert pictures of it finished into this video so you can see what it looks like finished. But yeah, Lansen and I ended up putting up the tree decal by ourselves because no one else, you know, was available to do that. And it was a ton of work. It took a really long time. It looks awesome, and like we love it. It looks so good, and Marcia loves it, obviously, which is the most important part. But yeah, it was definitely time consuming and not the easiest project, but it's so cool. So we did that, and then we arranged the photos, you know, in a specific way. We have like the grandparents down at the bottom because they're like the roots of the family, and then as the tree or the family grows, it's like the younger people, you know. So Lansen is at the very top because he's the youngest child, etc. So it's really just very cool and special, and it's in the dining room, so it's in a place where you can see it like all the time. Like you can see it from the kitchen or from when you come in and stuff. So it's awesome. So I'm really happy that in the end I was able to pull some surprises together and make her birthday special, especially when she thought it was just gonna be like really basic, just me and her hanging out, like super lame. We would have had fun, but I think that it ended up being a lot more special. Okay, then the next thing I want to tell you about is the next morning. So the next morning, Lansen had off, and like I said, he closed the night before. So he gets home really late, and then early in the morning, like 4 in the morning or something, he gets a phone call from work, and they're like, we can't find the keys that are supposed to stay there. Lansen uses the keys when he closes, and then he leaves them at work, and then the next morning, the people that open use those keys. Well, they couldn't find these keys anywhere, and it's like a huge deal. It's like really bad. Like, Lansen is the assistant store manager, and just like a couple days before, the store manager had told everyone, like, if you lose these keys, if anything happens to these keys, like, you're getting fired. Like, that's just how it is. Like, it's that important. All right, so nobody can find the keys. They're gone. They're just like looking everywhere. They can't find them. Finally, he just like gets dressed and goes to work because they can't find them. He doesn't know what to say. Well, first he looked through like our whole house. He looked everywhere, you know, in case he accidentally brought them home or something, which, I mean, would have been really obvious and he would have noticed that, but looked at home anyway. And I was wide awake because it got like to the point where it was really stressful and scary, and I was like, I can't just lay in bed anymore. So I get up and I start looking around, and he goes to work, and his mom wakes up. Me and Marcia are like looking around the house for these keys. I mean, we're just looking in like stupid places at this point because everyone's looked everywhere already. So we're just looking in like, you know, like between the couch cushions 3 times each, like each person like looks under the couch, like, you know, all these crazy places around the house for these keys, because this is so serious. Like, I mean, you don't lose them. You just don't. Or you lose your job, like, no matter how. And Lansen is, I mean, you might think like, oh, I'm a little biased because he's my husband. No, seriously, he is the hardest worker I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it just like puts me to shame. It puts everybody to shame because he is so dedicated. I mean, he goes above and beyond to the point where it's like ridiculous. Like, I just laugh at how hard he works because it's like, why are you even doing that? You know, like, he goes way above and beyond. He cares so much. He puts so much into it. Okay, let me finish the story. Okay, so basically he went to work, couldn't find the keys either. He told me basically the only place they could be is like, they could have gone out with the trash, you know, and the trash was already taken by the garbage people. So it's gone, the trash is gone. If the keys were in there, they're like gone. So he came back home because he looked everywhere in the store and couldn't find them. And I mean, at this point, he's like crying because he's been working so hard. You know, he's up for promotion in a couple months to be a store manager, have his own store at 23. I mean, that's so incredible. And it's all like just like gonna be lost, you know, like it's like over because of something so stupid. Okay, so he comes home, just gets in bed because it's like, you know, what else is there to do? He just like gets in bed, he's just devastated. And I mean, I don't even know what to say at this point. I'm just trying to comfort him and be like, hey, it's gonna be okay no matter what happens, you know. Like I was saying, you know, we were praying so hard, and I was saying like, well, maybe, you know, God wants you to go to another company, you know, and this is his only way of getting you out of this company because you love this company so much. Like, well, anyway, in a few hours we got a phone call. Once it was like, all right, like this is in your hands, God, just, you know, work this out for good somehow. Well, we get a phone call from his coworkers that are like, oh, we found the keys. They were like under like coffee grounds, like a drawer, like where coffee grounds go or something. It was so stupid. Obviously, Lansen did not put them there. He did not put the keys like under this drawer where they have like the coffee grounds. I don't know. But somehow they ended up there. We were just so relieved. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, now looking back, it's like, oh, it wasn't a big deal. But at the time, it was, I mean, we were just like terrified of what's gonna happen, you know? I feel like it was definitely a test of faith to see like, okay, in such a scary situation, you know, are we gonna turn to God, or are we gonna get scared or upset or angry, and you know, how are we going to react to a situation like this? And we really just put it in God's hands, and we're like, okay, whatever you want to do here, you know, like we trust you and we trust your plan and all that. Whew. It's all resolved. Nobody's in trouble because nobody has a clue how those keys got there. The point is, it's all better now, and he is up for his promotion in a couple months, and he's gonna have his own store. And I'm so excited. It's just gonna be so awesome. He's gonna rock it. I mean, it's gonna just be so great for him. And enough rambling. I'm gonna go, and hopefully this video has sound so I don't have to film it again, because I'm not doing that. Okay, well, it was great talking to you guys. I like my bear friends. Oh, that's my baby. She's awake. Okay, bye.